Hello, 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 and welcome. My name is Lissa, and today we're playing more Dredge. Yeah, I would have changed as soon as the ads finished, but I did want to get in that last chorus. So, if you'll see, I did change my setup a little. We put in the cat tree. Oh, hi, Ginger. Ginger and Solid Snake are here joining us today. So we made it that the kitties can join us now. So, also, hi Ty. I'm sorry I did miss you putting together your chair. I was sleeping. I took a nap before I started stream. I need the bonefish and I need a paddlefish. Osteotrachen and a paddlefish. We got that. We can do that. We can do that. Oh. It's too late. We need to go to bed. We need to take a sleep. Oh, Ginger's inside the thing. I don't think I've ever seen one of the cats get inside there. She's in there. I'm so happy. I'm so happy that they're using it. I know it used to be back where Dayton's mom sits in the breakfast nook. And I knew that they would like, we have this one and then a taller one that is also back there. And I knew that they were oh yeah, my lights are enhanced. I forgot about that. I knew that they were like would like use it all the time, so I was like, oh, they probably will use it if I move it. I'm glad to know that my hypothesis was correct. I love how close to Twisted Strand this thing is. She says, not actually loving how close to Twisted Strand this thing is. Twisted Strand is a wild place. Okay. It's still morning and I'm in the Narrows now, so I think we can get away with hasting. I'm so terrified the Leviathan. I never saw Leviathan in my first play. I'm so terrified that I could though. Yeah, I need one of these dudes. Look at me. We're good. Are you that one? No, that's not what I meant. That's a regular old fishing spot. Dark ooze gathers on my vessel. What the heck? No. I already gave one of you. No. Bubble. I think we just go into port in the Marrows and then see about tomorrow what we can do. Yeah, I got the spots. There we go. I like that it makes the aberration noise every single time. That's kind of fun. Okay, no. Yeah, that's just... Okay. Bye, grouper. Enhanced lights. They're enhanced. I'm just glad I'm not getting hallucination rocks. Hallucination rocks suck. They're the worst. Fishmonger. Take these fish. Do I just get rid of this? Like, is there any use for this? Is there any use for that? I don't know. Okay, I want to see if we can't find that one fish and then go back, because I don't want to have to, like, hop back and forth. I need it's a paddlefish. I need a paddlefish. Are you? No, you're not paddlefish. Hello, Dust. I have a dark ooze in my inventory. Can I use that for anything, or should I just get rid of it? It's for late stage DLC crafting. Heard. Where is this goddamn paddlefish? Can't do that one. No, I already have one of those. Ugh, fine. I'd trash them for now. You get one every time you fail to hit a zone while fishing in the oil, so they really easy and fast farming need them. Oh, okay, nice. Good to know. I'm gonna collect this and then continue on. Dolphins, I hear you. And I'll discard that. Dolphins! This is when I would need to have the dang old photography equipment so I could take pictures of them. The orcas! Hi, orcas! I love them. I love the orcas. Let's do a little night fishing, just a little. Squid. That'll be good. I just want to get into rig now. Get into port. We're close enough that I doubt anything crazy is gonna happen, but who knows? I've had the anglerfish come get me in that that like sectioned off space in between the marrows. Want. Oh, eyes. Great. Love that. Here. Take this guy. It's stale. This one's the only one that's fresh. I need to find a paddlefish. I can't find the freaking paddlefish. Generator. I cannot pay for any biomass you add to the generator. The bigger the better, I assume. This isn't really my area. Cool. Okay, that was all. I wasn't sure. Oh, I need research parts for these. Forgot about that. And these, it's creating that. Here, take that. Dark canister, and there's my hydraulic rod, so all I need for that one is a dark canister. So that's really nice. TBH, girly. I'm probably gonna get the infused hoist, but I'm gonna have to like buy the hoist that it wants me to. So let's sleep. Now let's go see if we can't find a freaking paddlefish. No. Well, that's my bad. Didn't mean to do that. Just wasted a whole day. Could have been fishing that whole day. That's my bad. I meant to click undock. That's so creepy. Ooh, no. I can't be distracted by aberrations. I'm always distracted by aberration. I'm gonna be distracted by the aberration. Come on, give me something good. Heck you. Didn't give me my aberration like I wanted. Therefore, I am done. The rift under the water? What? I'm confused. Dustin, what? Said something looked creepy. Oh no, it sounded creepy. It sounded creepy. The like weird groan of the rig was terrifying. So please, can I have a paddlefish? I want everyone to be aware when I say that I am referencing the vine of the guy at the Waffle House. There we go. No. I'm fully referencing the vine of the guy at the Waffle House. Who is watching the fight between the chef and the waiter. Can I please have a waffle? Not through there. Let's go around. A sickly stench rises from your cargo hold. What? Sick. Oh. Sell. Discard. Sleep. Go back. Finish quest. Get more quest. I really think the mint looks better with the blue. The regular green is just too olivey. I think the mint is peak. I really liked in my main game I got when I got the gold and mint looked really good together. Was a big fan of that combo. Hasten my journey. I try to only go about halfway on the haste, just because I don't want to mess anything up. I don't want to get too panicked. I don't want to freak out too hard. I don't want the things of the deaths to know that I'm scared. Okay, that is a question that I had whilst playing because I couldn't tell. I didn't know if the clock went faster the faster you go. It does not appear so. It appears the clock goes at the same rate no matter how fast you're going. Hi, Blue Whale. You did give me a little bit of a fright. Hey, here's the news that 1, there's a new animated adaptation of George Orwell's Animal Farm that came out recently, and 2, one of the villains drives what's very obviously meant to be a cyber truck. There's that paddlefish. Scientist looks taken aback. He consults some papers on his desk and leaves through an old encyclopedia. This is remarkable. Some of these species, have you caught these before? They haven't been seen outside the fossil records since, well, ever. I suppose it can make sense. The fissure opening caused some kind of disturbance in the deep, possibly spooking some of these fish up the water column. I'll run some tests on these. The scientist is interrupted by the foreman outside, shouting through his megaphone again. The foreman bellows an order. Engage reverse gear, get that drill out of there. Oh. So it made it go further. That entire section of the Gill Cliffs? Ah, hell, that's enough. Drill is clear. I repeat, drill is clear. Shut it down. As I was saying, I'll run some quick tests on these specimens, though from the sound of things, you may have some additional samples to gather. Seems the reservoir is more unstable than we anticipated. Even with the drill removed, it appears the fissure is continuing to expand. Unfortunately, there have been reports of some contaminants leaking from the fissure in isolated pockets. There's always a chance this might happen. The engineer at the factory has been working on a system to siphon such contaminants from the water. I'd very much like a canister of it. I've been trying to keep a record of where all that dark liquid has been showing up. Come see me if you need any pointing to any contamination patches. We're in the planning stages for an expansion to the factory. Maybe you'd like to help out? 2-2, I need a box. Okay. Got it. Heard. Tech lab also. Foreman says we're due to start an extension to the building soon. Is the engineer and the factory person the same one? Hull in stat improvements. Okay. Do you know anything about the mutated fish I've been finding? Mutations are present in almost all species, and fish are certainly no exception. In my years of study, I've seen fish with extra fins, eyes, and even heads. Yes, they're a relatively normal part of the development of a species. Occasionally, they can be influenced by external factors, but only in exceptional circumstances. Tier 2 has some good stuff trawling at the trawls up building materials. Bro, that's a game changer. That's a game changer. What's going to happen to the fisher that opened? There's a piece of fuzz from my microphone that got stuck in my pop filter that was tickling my chin. Now that the drill is withdrawn, it should settle down, provided nothing else disturbs the seabed. I expect that given enough time, it will be filled with sediment entirely. Only a few things short of fully upgrade. That's nice. In the meantime, it appears to have opened some interesting opportunities for research. What was I supposed to be doing? The locals in the Merrills and Guild Cliffs have reported sightings of strange ooze on the surface of the water. I need you to collect a canister of it for me. You'll need to upgrade the factory and construct a siphon trawler before you'll be able to do that, though. Okay. So I'll undock and find a box. And it looks like the box is over here, replenished, so. I'll yoink a box from over here. I'll yoink a couple boxes from over here. We'll be doing good. Ah. I keep doing that. Thank God I don't have to do that one again. Boop, 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 boop. Eat. Don't turn off my light. That's illegal. Pretty sure the box dredge spots respawn over time like other spots, but also in tier 2 you get the ability to make them. In tier 1 you get the ability to make them. It's one each wood, metal, and cloth, so it's not cheap, but it's an option. Yeah, that's. I was like, I don't think I'm good. Yeah, you can make them in tier 1 because see, right here. But we're not doing that. Take that. That's everything we'll get to work. Ooh. The tech lab is fully built now. These modules can be attached to your ship. Placement's flexible too. They can be wired up wherever they need to go. Rotor reprogrammer. Increase the rotational turning speed of your vessel. That's nice. Reverse gear router. Chain optimizer. Made one of the rotor programmer and kept it in my ship the rest of the game. Yeah, it feels like it'd be really nice to have. They don't have to go in any specific spot. They just have to be in your boat's storage. Oh my god. Real accelerator. Heat sink. Oh, heat sink feels like it'd be really nice. And trail guidance chip. That also feels good. Factory. Tier 2, baby. Here you go. Let's get to work. Factory's core facilities have been improved. We can make some more items now. I need a basic trawl net and that. Okay. Material harvester. Catches dredge. An incredibly robust net allows for the collection of more solid materials. Fish can't be caught in a net like this. Once deployed, this trap expands into a larger formation capable of gathering discarded materials. Okay. Let's see about getting a trawl net. Oh yeah, we got the money for that. We don't fully understand the properties of all the materials we're working with, but it's something in the head scientist is working on. Girl, what? Also, totally didn't realize I had a cloth and a metal scrap. Not gonna lie to you. Did not realize that was there. Equip the siphon trawler. Eat. Back. And we're gonna undock and head out. Do. I think we're gonna go to Scale Cliffs and try to continue main story in Gale Cliffs right now. Solid Snake is very cute right now. So. That is the unfortunate thing about having 3 black cats that only have like small identifying markings. And also different collars with different name tags. Is that if you want to identify which one it is, you have to like actively look. So. Chugging along. Singing a song. I'm not singing a song right now, though, actually. I could sing a song. La 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 la. It didn't want me to sing a song. The music came in and was like, no, you're done. Cutting you off. Come on. Goop canister. Oh, am I like oil spill cleanup crew with this stuff? Does this stuff respawn? Does the oil spill goop respawn? Sort of. No. Get away from me. Yeah, that's right. You better leave. If you clean it all, it won't come back until you choose to. Once you finish the segment, you can ask the foreman if you see more goop, and he'll tell you about. Oh, okay. Interesting. I forgot I had crab nets. Oh my god, I forgot I had crab traps. I forgot about the crabs. Do I have a book? No. %5 increased sell price and 5% reduced buy price. That's nice. Collect samples from Gale Cliffs. Collect some of the containment. Nautilus, Solacina, lancetfish, and trilobite. I'm missing that guy. Okay. Follow the wind. Do you know about the guiding wind? The guiding wind? The wind that guides you? Hey, look! It's the Dustin flag. We found the Dustin flag. Peak aesthetic. Of course you would say that. It's you. Of course I know him. He's me. Cannot get. Cannot get the primordial fish. Ooh. What to heck? I can't put my crab pot down. Lancetfish. Oh, dang. Okay. There we go. I'm probably just gonna sell that one. Because I'm not even remotely close. Let's yoink up some of this oil spill. Primordial goop time. Okay. Fish market. Tetris fish. Exactly. Also funny thing, there's theoretical fastest way to clean up the goop and it's dumb. Oh. Driving through it slows you. So the trawler picks up goop from the back end of your ship and driving through it slows you down. Yeah. Do you just go backwards? Do you just... Fastest ways to get around 5 or 6 of those augments with the iron rig that cause your backing up speed and drive across them backwards. Yeah. Yeah. I didn't turn it on, so I was just driving through oil spill. Like it was my job. Which right now it kinda is, but like it's my job in a specific way. Oh heck, I need crabs for this shrine, right? They're crab. It's a crab shrine. I'll put them out right next to the shrine. That's a little weird. If you have a different trawl net equipped and active, then switching to it, it will be visibly active and sucking in water, but won't actually collect oil until you turn it off and on again. Weird. Remember, kids, don't get eaten by a giant serpent. Stand center of campsite. The fire's embers are cool, but ash is still steady, blowing out with the wind. Large flat rocks at the top of the charred wood of the campfire. A handful of tiny fish bones can be seen poking out the ashes. You kick the ashes. Your foot hits something hard at the bottom of the pile. You brush the remnants aside. Yay. You take it. Footprints. You find no footprints, but unfamiliar symbols have been sketched in the dust nearby. Some have been erased with a hasty sweep of a foot. The tent is a sheet of cloth suspended over some sticks. There's nothing inside save a smooth hollow in the dirt where someone slept. Yeah. Oh, heck. What's the map button? Yeah, I figured it was probably M. Okay. Dope. Right there. Oh, God. Will it follow me into the waterfall? No. Good. The balloons are refined metal. Not bad. Not haste. Trawl net. There's the oarfish, by the way. There's the oarfish that we need to get, but we don't have the winch for it. So. No, I don't have atrophy. I'm at the very start of this game. You think I have atrophy? Absolutely not. You get atrophy after doing, you know, Twisted Strand. You get atrophy after Twisted Strand. Okay, Mr. Sea Serpent. He's so rude. He's so mean to me specifically when all I'm trying to do is get this thing that's at the bottom of the ocean over here. Come on. And now I leave. I hate the Gale Cliffs. I hate being in the Gale Cliffs. It's the worst thing in the world. I hate it. I hate it. Hate the dark goose. That guy. Yeah, I hate that guy. I hate that guy. He's the worst. He sucks. All my homies hate Gale Cliff's Serpent. I also need to get to work on catching fish. It's so red. Do I have fish? No. Cool. Bye. One dark canister. I'm gonna get a few. I feel like I'm gonna get a few. Repair. Also, send that to storage. Also, I just realized. Bam. Hull improved, baby. Upgrade to the 2nd tier hull. Boop. And boop. Pursuits. Return the dark fluid. Show family crest to hermit. Lancet fish. That's an abyssal guy. Ooh. I'm very excited to see the aberrations of the exotic fish. I need to catch the aberrations in the Marrows. Especially the aberrations of the new fish. Pretty sure you need to make the infused ocean winch for the oil fish after the first set. Okay. I love the aberrations. They're like my favorite part of this game. It's so fun to see them. See like, cause like the Devil Ray one is so cool. I'm excited to see these ones. The ones for because Devil's Spine is so like primordial anyways. The ones for Devil's Spine are crazy. The Umbral Crab is one of my favorite aberrations. That thing is terrifying. Oh, I love this guy. This guy is so good. The Medusa Octopus. The Medusa Octopus is a really, really good one too. I love the Traveling Merchant's little pontoon song. It's so fun. Ooh. Ooh, I'm just really excited to get to the Stellar Basin aberrations. The mangrove fish are not that interesting to me, and it's probably because they're the kind of fish that you catch like where I'm from. So like seeing gar and catfish, I was like, meh. I'm not interested in catching gar and catfish. I thought that was pretty funny to me, that I was like, oh, this is just my local fish. Ugh. These guys are pretty cool. These guys took me forever to get one. That's the Umbral Crab. It's awesome. This one took me forever to get. Oh, hey, the Razormouth Tuna. Don't have Abyssal yet. Oh, the Moonfish. The beaked one. The beaked guy. The ice fish that we can't get yet. Oh, these look cool. This one particularly looks dope. Cannot wait to find that. Oh, the oarfish aberration. The gulper eel aberration. The Goliath something aberration. The coelacanth aberration I'm so excited to see. I freaking love coelacanth. Goliath grouper, thank you. I saw somebody on the subreddit posted an actual picture of a Goliath grouper, and it was insane. Apparently they're so rare that it's just like almost impossible to like find one. Let alone catch it. But I thought it was a really cool thing to see. Let's go ahead and finish Gale Cliffs while we're here. Forge. Path. Number 230 is pain. What's number 230? Oh, I know exactly what that one is. I know exactly what that one is, and I know exactly why it's pain. Hello again. What can I do for you? Is this your family crest? You found it. I never thought I'd see this beauty again, but now I have a further favor to ask. Would you take this to my brother at Ingfell? Tell him his brother is sorry and would like to come home. I did the mildest amount of exploiting to catch it easier. Yeah. I hate the red. I hate all the red. It's making me, as a gamer, feel anxious. As the gamer. What is it? I believe this crest is yours. Gods, I haven't seen this since. So he did take it. I knew it. Your brother's sorry. Will you let him come home? I don't know if I was in the right state when I was in a right state when he left. Okay, fine. He can stay in my old workshop, at least for the time being. But I'll need some time to clear it out. While I'm doing that, perhaps you can do something for me. See, I've been trying to clear some debris in the pathway through the cliffs to make a shortcut with explosives. I was able to set a charge, but the cliff seemed particularly unsteady that day, so I didn't risk detonating it. You just need to get in there and set it off. It's not far in. I left some yellow flags nearby. You can't miss it. Anything else? Not then I'll see ya. Ugh. If you quit while not docked, it resets back to your last save at a dock, including resetting any bait used. Okay. That is a decent exploit. Okay. Yes. I've heard that as long as I'm over 40 knots, I can get away from the guy. Seeing the twisted strand tree is so funny to me. You've done it. We heard the blast from here. Gods, the echo. I'm surprised the cliff didn't come down on your head. I got things ready here. Go and tell my brother that he can come home. All the paths I've cut through the oil. Pretty sure if you go straight at him, you can cross him up as he starts to bite you at even lower speeds. Maybe. Hello again, what can I do for you? Your brother forgives you. He's found you a place to stay. He does? That's a huge weight off my chest. One so old, I hardly remembered it was there. Right, well, I'm packed and ready to go. Hermit climbs aboard with all his belongings. Well, here we are. The hermit notices the old whaler standing on the dock waiting for him. Little brother, you're home. I'm so sorry. I was so foolish. We both were. Come on inside. Let me get your bags. The two brothers walk away down the dock. One of them pauses for a moment and turns back to you. Oh, stranger, if you find any more debris that needs clearing, I'm working on making some more packed explosives. Come by the old whale yards anytime. Here, this is on the house for all your help. Thanks. Hope you can put them to good use wherever you find cause for it. They're not that expensive. Feel like I should go ahead and buy a couple. Okay. I want to go to Pontoon. I'm just trying to suck up so I can get that's the last canister full, you know? Ugh, seriously? Not haste. Trollnet. I'm so close to filling up that last canister. Just come on. Just come on. Just fill it up. Come on. There we go. We're good. We're parking. We're parking at the pontoon. We're good. Okay. Do I have fish? No, I feel like I ask that all the time. Okay, and shipyard. Thanks to their tide roiler Inkfall, I now carry a small stock of packed explosives very carefully. Oh, I didn't realize I spent so much money. Oh. Anyways. Let's get this last thing because I want the ability that comes with having gotten it. Yes, use explosives. Also treasure. I'll always take some treasure. Okay. There's so much that has to be done here. Okay. But we're gonna go back up to the Marrows. I hate the Gale Cliffs because I always feel like the Gale Cliffs are where I have to do all of the work. Like, It's just never done. You pull up to a wreck with a familiar looking hull. It's almost identical to the ship given to you by the mayor, except this one has a huge breach in the side. You're tied up alongside the old wreck. Look in the cabin. You're in the cabin. Look in the cupboards and drawers. Cupboards have been completely and methodically emptied. All the drawers are missing. Try to find loose floorboard. There aren't even any floorboards left. The equipment is also there, though surely exposure to the elements has fried the internals. You angle the overhead radio down to get a closer look. A note slips off the top. You put it in your pocket to read later. Check out the cargo. Hook through the cargo hold. Few items remain. Not yet lost to sea. And I'll dredge this. Cool. Let's get to the marrows. Ba-da-ba-da-boop. Once we get to the marrows, I think we're instead of docking, because we don't have a fish. So instead of docking at the greater marrows, I want to dock at little marrows. Because we do, in fact, have a bunch of treasure to sell. And a flag to get installed. Builder flag. Unique design. Yes, I want to attach it now. Okay. Wait. Trader. We do want to sell all trinkets, and then in storage we have some doubloons. And let's also look in storage. Okay, so this one does 18 knots. This one does 15. This one does 14. This one does 7. I'll get rid of this. No, I didn't have to uninstall that. That's my bee. Cool. Oh, install equipment into every slot in your ship. Yeah. Let's look at this note. Deep sky, deep forever. Casket seal broken. Fog core? 5 equals rise. He knows. Okay. And then we'll sleep here. And we'll head on over to the rig. I don't think there's anything I had to do with Greater Marrows, so we're just gonna head on over to the rig. Also try and pick up a box or 2 on the way. 2. We're picking up 2 boxes. Hi, Blue and the crew. Hello, everybody. How's it going? Hi. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Lissa. I play spooky games, cozy games, spooky cozy games, and Bethesda. Today we're playing Dredge, which is a spooky little fishing game. It's very, very fun. I really like it. I haven't ever played the DLC before, and so we're doing a mix of main story and DLC. Oh my gosh, also, yes, Bethany Esda. She's my girl. Oh, also I changed my setup. So here's Solid Snake. He decided to join us today. I'm exploiting you, bud. It's okay. He's asleep. This guy is out. This guy is out cold. Also, anybody watch Peacemaker? I just realized. Anybody watch Peacemaker? Because I made a Peacemaker bracelet. You can't really see it. It says Peacemaker and it has his colors. And then I also made a Vigilante bracelet that says Vigilante and it has his colors and has 2 little pink beads because he's baby girl. So, but yes, we're playing Peacemaker. I hardly know her, but also no. It's understandable. It's an HBO show, you know, with all the stuff that comes with that. But also, I love it personally. I'm like very into the whole story of it. So far, it's very. It's season 2, so the story of season 2 has been very hard hitting so far and very like pain. It's very good. It's really good. The only Peacemaker thing I've seen is the Vigilante scene with the boobs being poured over. Yeah. He is a weirdo. I'm fairly certain the character has antisocial personality disorder, but also the way he's written kind of feels like he has autism, because he's very like upbeat and bright about like everything, but he also has like no social awareness. I love him so much. Yeah. He's the guy who plays him, Freddie Stroma, is beautiful. Also for people who know and care, Freddie Stroma, Vigilante from Peacemaker, married to Jenny Matrix from Video Game High School. That guy was Cormac McLaughlin in Harry Potter, and he's married to Jenny Matrix. That feels like such a like wild thing to me. I don't think we're gonna be able to get this second box in. So we're just gonna go on to the rig. Yeah, that blew my mind when I found out he was married to Jenny Matrix. Also, he has a really beautiful moment in the first season where he intentionally gets arrested so that he can be in prison with the white supremacists, and then absolutely dunks on the white supremacists, and then proceeds to beat up every single one of them except the main one, who is like kind of a main character. So he's a main antagonist, one of 2 main antagonists throughout the show, the first season. So I am doing good, Ty. We're doing really good. I was just talking about Peacemaker because I'm really on the Peacemaker train right now. I'm really like I was a DC girly, and then the Marvel Cinematic Universe came out, and I got really into Marvel. so much so I've been trying to keep a record of where all that dark cloak has been showing up. Come see me if you need pointing any contamination patches. Cool. I love Marvel still to this day. Like, I was Captain America is one of my like top 5. It has been like one of my top 5 superheroes since I was like young. But Nightwing has always been my number 1. Whatever superhero Dick Grayson identifies as at any point in time is my favorite superhero. I want to rewatch. I didn't watch Agatha All Along. I need to. I watched I think the last show we watched wasn't even season 2. It was Loki season 1. Or maybe What If season 1. We didn't watch season 2 of Loki or What If. I loved Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I loved WandaVision. I loved Hawkeye. I mean, that must be Lyra Valkyrie's fault. To be fair, I loved Nightwing before any of the Batman Arkham games came out. Like, Nightwing has always been my guy. Nightwing's always been my guy. So, that's also like when the Batman came out in, what was it, 2022? And the Riddler was the bad guy in that. I freaked out. We didn't get around to Agatha should do effort. No, fully understand. We saw the Thunderbolts and still haven't seen Fantastic Four. Still haven't seen Captain America Brave New World. We only saw Thunderbolts. That was the only one that came out in the last couple years that I think the last Marvel movie we went and saw before the Thunderbolts was Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. But no, so the Riddler was the oh no, I need to, oh no, borderless, Zoom, let me out. It captured my, I captured my thing and I'm just, Dustin, allow that message if you can. I can't get in there. It's captured my mouse. I can't leave. Thank you. But the Riddler was the bad guy in Batman. Or thank you, Ty. Yes. Ty, I forget that I made you a mod. I don't know why. I don't know why I forget that you have mod powers now. But it's because you don't flex them. That's why. It's because you don't flex them, and Dustin fully is like keeper of the banhammer. But the Riddler, being the villain, had so much Riddler merch, and everybody was going after the Riddler stuff and the Riddler. And I, having been a fan of the Riddler since like 2009, was going insane, going crazy. But I also felt like, I was like, no, you have to understand. I'm a fan of Riddler with the green jacket that has coattails and the purple bowler hat. Like, that's my Riddler. I feel like this needs to be understood. Yes, new chair. I need to go back and watch that. Ty. I'm so sorry. Like I said, I was literally asleep when you started that, so I didn't know. But yeah, it felt weird because I was like, no, I've been obsessed with the Riddler for years. It's not just because Paul Dano's playing him now. So, holds it up to light. For a moment, the fluorescent bulbs in the room flicker and buzz, light recoiling in a patterning as the ceiling. Thank you. It's always important to know what we're dealing with in operations such as these. If you saw anything noteworthy about the liquid, he doesn't let on. Oh, and don't forget about that other thing I asked you to do. Have you had time to gather samples? No, not yet. Okay, shallow, oceanic, crab, coastal. Tier 2, no, that's... one of these, and one of these. Gonna lurk in D-stream if I'm not back in time to catch you tomorrow. Yes, go have fun being a human being and taking care of yourself. I'll see you later. Have a good time. Mwah, love you, bye. Yeah. Yeah. I can't even hear it. My stuff decided that it doesn't want me to hear it. So I guess I'm gonna have to like look into that. Look into why it's not letting me listen. I'll see you later, bye friend. No, I need to go get those samples. Oh heck. I need to sleep here. Can we talk about what I think is an absolute senseless heel turn? Danny Garcia. This is Danny Garcia. Is it Danny? I would like to talk about wrestling, yes. Yeah. I think they've been like setting some like things, some like hints. Because like, why was he looking so sinister when he was in Nigel's corner for the Nigel Zack Sabre Jr. match for Forbidden Door? Why were you looking so like you were about to turn on Nigel right there? And then he didn't. I think they've been setting a few seeds, but I also don't know what his motivations are. So, I'm just not sure. Look at the orcas. So cute. I'm just really curious because you got 2 of the 4 killers right there. You got Danny and Yuta as evil. If we bring in Lee Moriarty on the good guy's side, then him and Hook are the other 2 of the 4 killers. So I'm just saying we could have a nice little like how they did the 4 pillars match. We could have a 4 killers match. That could be fun. That could be cute. I would enjoy that personally. But I'm also just a sicko who likes watching wrestling happen. So, who knows? The music in this game is so pretty. It's so calming. Lee Moriarty, he is busy with STP. He's busy doing whatever Shane Taylor tells him to do. Although I will say, oh my gosh. Carly Bravo, I think it was Carly Bravo, posting a picture with the ROH 6-man belt that he took out on a picnic. And he was being like, yeah, the last guys didn't treat you right. Those dang Texans didn't wine and dine you like I am. That was good. That was funny. I liked that. Good job. Again, I think it was Carly Bravo. I don't think it was Sean Dean. I knew it was one of the infantry. But my brain is not telling me which one of the infantry it is. I knew I saw the picture. I knew that like I said, I think it's Carly Bravo. I don't remember. Okay, so you've returned. I wasn't sure you weren't coming back. You dragged a massive music box in the room, guiding wooden floorboards beneath. The collector doesn't seem to mind. He's focused on the box. You found this at the cliffs, didn't you? Yes. Surrounded the music box. Excellent. This should make future return journeys a little more swift. Allow me. This is what I wanted. Select some of the silver ribbons trailing from the crimson bound book, opening it to some unseen page. Trying to catch the dim light, he whispers the words on the page. After a few seconds, you feel your stomach drop suddenly, as though thrown by a high wave. He closes the book and turns his attention back to you. Now, there are yet more relics to find. Keep looking. The reef at Cellar Basin may have caught and accumulated some wreckage. Search around that area. I'll mark a location on your map where you can begin your search. Anything else? No, I'm good. I have a research part, but part of me thinks that I should use it at the rig. Have a combined fishing speed of 200%. WWE's news tonight. What? I don't keep up with WWE that well. I just get whatever headlines they say about WWE. So I knew AJ Lee returned, and that's the last thing I knew. What was their news? WrestleMania 43 will be in Saudi Arabia. Ugh. Yeah. I don't know. The fact, also, for context, I love MXM Collection. Best friends broke up, and MXM Collection came into my heart and said, we'll be your new favorite tag team. And I said, absolutely, MXM Collection. My heart is yours. So, that, the fact that they were treated so badly in WWE and only kept around so that they would have somebody to have an in with the Saudi government to let them get there doesn't sit right with me. Never sat right with me. Now it's eels. Okay, let's go fishing in the Gale Cliffs. Hello? Okay, sure. Okay, let's catch some dang old fish. Wrong. A nautilus. That's someone else. So Alex, oh, I say hi to. I say hi to. That was really good. Oh, aberration of that thing. Let's stop. Let's solve this aberration. Let's go. Answer is great, but I hate the way WWE did the gimmick. Yeah, I never... Like, the only thing I really know about the way WWE did the gimmick is that they were managed by Max Dupree before he became LA Knight. So. That's like really all I got. I got crab pots I gotta look in. I got crab pots that are probably doing crab business. I have crab business that I need to attend to. Celestina? Okay. That's the thing, he was LA9 and NXT, and then as soon as he got to the main roster, Vince says, help that, you're getting a name change in your way. Ugh. Hate. I also, I'm gonna say this, I loved Mariah May in AEW. Absolutely loved her. I thought her gimmick was so fun. I thought she was doing a fantastic job in like being a heel. I loved it. She ugh, okay. Okay, I'll take the rock crab and put the trilobite back. I can't. Okay. Get rid of that ooze. And then I'll leave that because I can just put the rock crab in the shrine. Loved her in there. Have every clip I've seen of her in NXT. So bad. No, not good. She's a heel on NXT as well, despite the name change. I knew that. I don't like the work with the gimmick change. Ad breaks happening. I'll wait to express more opinions on Blake Monroe. I've got a big pop-up in the center of my screen, my other screen, but I can't do anything about it because my mouse is captured by the game. So, I'm having a time. Okay. Now that ads are gone, I understand. I know she's a heel in NXT, but every single clip that I've seen of her heel work in NXT, like with the new gimmick that she has going on, I just don't like. I am just not a fan of it at all. I think it's very it's like they took the more complex character of the glamour and then just like boiled it down into the thick syrupy substance of the glamorous girl. And it just feels really shallow to me. Also, when she started that feud with Jordan Grace and was just quoting Sabrina Carpenter, hated that. Hated that so much. Here, take some samples. Oh, I didn't realize I got all the samples. Scientists insert a syringe into each of the creatures now laying long dead on the slab. From each in turn, he draws a vial of fluid. This will only take a moment. Some vials contain the type of blood you might expect, deep and red, catching glints of light from the fluorescent bulbs overhead. Other corpses yield a dark, clotted substance that seems to crawl up into the vial by itself. It shimmers with quiet iridescence as if lit from the inside. He places the vials of what should be fish blood in a rack in front of him. Down in the deep, something begins to brush against the legs of the rig. Oh, hi. There's something gigantic, something incredibly powerful gripping the rig, so it's really here. Scientist steps away from the nearby window, knuckles still white from gripping the frame moments before. Fisherman, the structure, the people on it. Can't stand up to this. I had a student. She was developing some technology. He turns back and presses his forehead against the glass. It was a way of communicating, I suppose. We were working on emulating a language that we didn't fully understand. She began to twist the words. But she didn't agree with Ironhaven's methods, so leveraging my role on the board for the Research Society, I pulled some strings and had her posted far away to Stellar Basin. I know her. Please go and find her. I hope she's progressed her research sufficiently to help us. And while you're there, try to catch some of the local specimens. I think they hold the key to understanding what we're here for. Sea slug. Carigmacula? I just did a week of Harsha. Yeah. Tripod spiderfish and eagle shark. Ooh, fun. Those tentacles seem angry. Not surprised. Resource refinement. I don't know if I want that actually. Factory. Can you lose size? That's quite it's shaking the whole damn rig. Doesn't seem like it should be possible. The legs are anchored pretty deep. Oh, this takes two. Repair tech. Let's do this. Okay, and we'll sleep. Try the light. I gotta go, because I also need this crab. That's at 0 to 5 meters. Map. There, I gotta go. I do like that it's got little things on the map of like where the ooze is. Gotta go around the back and grab my crab pots and fix them and get all the stuff there. Iron rig. Collect samples from Stellar Basin and talk to the researcher. Factory tier 3, foundry tier 2. I can do that. Love that my ship is so close to those tentacles. Like, that's really comforting, you know? That's so comforting. I never really used this spyglass. That's cool. Never really used the spyglass in the base game, so. And then. Oh, that's actually really cool. That's actually really cool and useful, and I love it. I'm just gonna mark all of everything on the map. You see a splash in the water? It's going on my map, bro. Oh my god, that's awesome. That's awesome. That's so awesome. Shark. Tuna. Crazy scary fish. Cod. Dredge. Cod. Mackerel. Stuff. Items. Things. The bronze whaler. Shark. Whoa. Whoa. I get to sit here all day marking everything on my map. That's so fun. That's the best. Oh, I want to go get this oceanic fish that was in here. I knew it was a swordfish. I knew it would have to be a swordfish. Because I thought the sailfish were swordfish when I first started playing this game, but they're not. They're sailfish. Fish, dude. Fishes. Aquatic animals. They're so neat. They're so cool. Now I think after we do everything here, I'm gonna end it for the day. I saw you sailing out towards the horizon and crossing that deep expanse. You really think that was wise? What's the problem? Feels a bit like tempting fate, does it not? Things are bad enough around here without your provocations. Abruptly, she walks away. Her eyes scan the water. She walks along the docks. Here. Take that. and I'll get rid of this. Awesome. I need a cloth and a wood. And then here I need 2 wood, 2 metal, and a cloth. So that's 3 wood, 2 metal, and 2 cloth. 5 wood, 4 metal, and 2 cloth all together for these. Cool. And I think that we will go ahead and end it here, friends. Just because I gotta get ready for Dayton and I are heading out tonight. And so I gotta be ready by the time he gets home. So with that, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for saying hi. I hope you had a good time, because I know I sure did. We'll be back here on Friday. Not today's Friday. Monday. I wish that I knew times or like days of the week. That would be really cool. We'll be back here on Monday, 3 p.m. Central Time. Central CST, whatever. That's my time zone. CST, whatever. Up there, that's the link to my BlueSky. You'll also see the ticker link to my Instagram and my YouTube channel, right up here. That's where you can follow me. I post on BlueSky every single time I go live. That way you can either have notifications turned on here on Twitch, or you can just follow me on BlueSky. Either works, man. Either works. Also, if you match this beautiful image down to the beautiful image in my panels, you'll see all of our friends over in the Whimsical Mischief Gang. Go give them a follow. Go make sure you're checking out when they're live, because I would raid them, but nobody's live. So... with that being said, thank you so much for being here. You're appreciated. We'll see you next time. Bye!